I've noticed a lot of people are commenting saying that they are new to the Dragon Ball TCG and that they would like to learn more about it. So today's video is for you guys. This video is directed towards new people entering the TCG and it's only covering the collecting side of things. We won't be covering any gameplay mechanics or anything like that. So today I'll be covering everything that you need to know about collecting the Dragon Ball Super card game, both Masters and Fusion World. And I'll also be covering the two Japanese sets, Super Dragon Ball Heroes and also Dragon Ball Super Divers. Bandai released the first Dragon Ball TCG in July 2017 and it was called Dragon Ball Super Card Game. While Bandai has only released one Dragon Ball TCG called Dragon Ball Super Card Game, there are actually two different versions of the game. There is Masters and there is Fusion World. Every booster box set of the Dragon Ball Super card game that has been released since 2017 has been the Masters version of the game. But in February 2024, that's when they released Fusion World, and that is its own separate version of the game. I know it's a bit confusing, but think of it this way. The Masters version of the game is basically more complex with deeper strategies and detailed rules, while Fusion World was released to be a bit more of a simplified and more streamlined version of the game. My understanding is there was a lot of feedback and complaints about the Masters version of the game being too complex and complicated, so Bandai decided to release Fusion World to make a more simplified version so that it would help attract new players. Also for Fusion World, Bandai created an online version of the game to also help make it more accessible, whereas the Masters version of the game actually does not have an online client. There is no crossplay between Masters and Fusion World. They are their own dedicated separate games. Having said that though, both Fusion World and Masters still have their yearly national and international tournaments where people can travel across the world and win exclusive prizes. There are currently 28 base sets of the Masters version of the game, with the 29th due to be released in either December or January next year. It was actually originally supposed to come out on the 21st of November, but it appears that it's been pushed back. With Fusion World, there are currently 7 sets, with the 8th set called Saiyan Pride due to be released on the 12th of December this year. Okay, now let's look at the cards for comparison. So here are two super rare cards from Dragon Ball Masters. So we have the title of the card up top. There's like this dragon radar in the corner there with a number, and we have quite a bit of text with the gameplay moves and everything, and the power levels and categories at the bottom. And then these are from Fusion World, so see how it's a lot more simple and it's a cleaner design, and a lot of the cards have a lot less text as well, whereas the Masters cards, there can be quite a lot of text. Another thing as well about Masters and Fusion World is even though the front looks different, the back of the card is actually the exact same for both. Okay, let's talk about rarities now. So I'll start off with Masters. Of course, you have your commons, uncommons, and rares, but the ones that you want to pay a bit more attention to, and this is going up in order of rarity, is your SRs, super rares, your SPRs, special rares, your SCRs, secret rares, and GDRs, which is God Rare. God Rares are the highest rarity card that you can get in Masters. There also are a couple of Master sets that came out that have a new rarity exclusive just to that set. So there was the Dragon Ball Rares or DBRs that were exclusive to the Legend of the Dragon Ball set. They also introduced SLRs, which are special leader rares. I can't remember which set that was introduced. It might have been Ultimate Advent or maybe something before that. I'm not 100% sure. There's also concept rares. They came out recently in the last Master set, Prismatic Clash, and there's also Zenkai rares. There also is another type of card called an energy marker, and they sort of look the same, but the back of energy markers are white, so that's how you can differentiate the energy markers compared to all of the other types of cards. For Fusion World rarities, of course you have your commons, uncommons and rares, but then you also have your SRs, super rares, your leader cards, and your SCRs, secret rares. For the SRs, leaders and SCRs, they're the ones that all have alt arts, and it's the alt art versions of those cards that are the main chasers, and they're the ones that are actually more rare. Another rare card that you can score in Fusion World is the reprint alt arts. Now what that means is in the new Fusion World set that's coming out, they've taken an artwork from the previous Fusion World set before it, and they've done an alternative version of that artwork. So for example, we have this beauty right here. So this is from Blazing Aura, which is the second Fusion World set that came out. And as you can see, it says C with a star. So that means it was one of the reprint alt arts. So this card originally had a different artwork and design in the first Fusion World set called Awakened Pulse, and they did an alt art version for Blazing Aura. So these are actually quite rare to score as well. So if you manage to get one of these, you're pretty lucky. Another example for you guys is this Vegito leader card. So this is the regular version of the leader card. So see how it just has L there? And then we've got the back. But with this, see how the L has a star next to it? So you can always tell what card is an alt art if there is a star next to it, okay? And obviously the alt art being a bit more rare, it's a bit more crazy with the foiling and the texture. Really, really beautiful. In the previous Fusion World set that came out, Wish for Shenron, they also introduced a new type of rarity card called a Super Combo alt art. I believe they released 5 of those cards in that set, and I actually don't know what the pull rates are for those cards, but I think they're quite up there in terms of rarity as well. With the alt arts for SRs, leaders and the reprints, there's only one alternative version of that artwork that you can pull, but with the SCRs, there's actually 2 different alt arts that you can pull, okay? So you have a regular SCR, then you have an SCR alt art, which has 1 star next to it, and then there is a SCR 2-star super alt. You'll hear it be called different things by different people, but essentially the SCR that has 2 stars next to it is kind of the God Rare equivalent that's in Masters. So the SCR 2-star super alt is basically the rarest card that you can get in Fusion World. Okay, pull rates for booster boxes. Now, each booster box, both for Fusion World and Masters, have 24 packs with 12 cards in each pack. And with Masters, your guaranteed hits will be 2 SPRs with the addition of an SR or an SPR box topper. You can get one or the other. But if you pull an SCR or a God Rare, that will replace one of the spots for the SPR. So you would get one SPR plus either an SCR or a God Rare, but obviously that's what you want because they're the more rarer cards that you can get. And with booster boxes that have special exclusive rarities like the Dragon Ball rares or the SLRs, I'm pretty sure if you were to pull one of them, they are a bit more rare, so they also would take the spot of an SPR. So you would get one SPR plus one of the other types of rarities as well. You also get a bunch of SRs. Now in the earlier sets, I think you only would get maybe 3 or 4, but as sets have been released, they've been a bit more generous with the SRs. So I think now if you were to open one of the newer Master sets, you can get, I think, 7 or 8 SRs from one box. If you were to buy a sealed case of a Master set, which would be 12 booster boxes, there is a guarantee that there are 2 secret rares or SCRs in that whole case. Now with God Rares, there is no guarantee because they are the rarest card that you can get. They definitely are more elusive. Now there's no set number, but there have been a lot of people who have estimated that pulling a God Rare takes about 3 to 4 cases. But again, there is still no guarantee. With Fusion World, not only is the game simplified, but they appeared to have made the pull rates a lot easier as well. And the main hits of the box are actually the alt arts. Now, the number of alt arts that you get per booster box will actually vary depending on what you pull. So for example, if you score a regular SCR, you would get 2 SR alt arts. But if one of your alt art hits is something that's a bit more rare, like an SCR alt art, a alt art leader, or one of the new rarities like the reprint alt arts or the super combo alt arts, that will actually replace a spot for an SR alt art, meaning if you score one of the more rarer alt arts, you would only get one other SR alt art, meaning you only get 2 hits from the box instead of 3. Having said that though, with the latest Fusion World set that came out, Wish for Shenron, I actually did score 3 alt art hits in one of the boxes that I opened, and I scored an alt art leader. And anytime I scored an alt art leader in a previous Fusion World set, I only got one other SR alt art. So I don't know if that was an error box or if they've increased the hits that you can get in Fusion World now, or if you only got an additional hit for the last Fusion World set because of how Shenron like grants wishes, and maybe they were feeling generous or something with giving people an extra hit. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's usually either 2 or 3 hits per booster box. And something I think you guys might find helpful is decrypting the code that's on the card in the corner. So what I mean by that is, so we have a Fusion World card and a Masters card. They both have a code in the corner right here. So if you want to buy just single cards, you don't want to buy a booster box, this is honestly the best way to do it. Just look at the card code and you will surely find it on eBay or wherever you buy your cards from. It's the easiest way to find the exact card that you're looking for. So with Fusion World, so we have FB05. So that means this card came from the 5th Fusion World set, New Adventure. And then the number next to it after the dash is just the card number. So with Masters, so we have BT28. So that means it's from set 28 of Masters, which was called Prismatic Clash. And then we have the card number next to it. And then we have SR, which is the rarity. So yeah, I forgot about that with the Fusion World, but it's quite obviously there underneath. So see how it's got the letter L? So it's a leader card. If there's anything that you want to know that I haven't addressed in this video, please leave your question below and I'll do my best to answer it in my next video. Alright, now let's talk about some Japanese Dragon Ball cards. So we'll be talking about Super Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Super Divers. Now these cards are absolutely beautiful. They are exclusive only in Japanese. They do not have an English equivalent, and they are actually really cool. They're not your average TCG. Let's start off with Super Dragon Ball Heroes, which was the first one that was released in 2018. So it's kind of unusual. So they released this type of set to accompany promoting a mini anime web series and also a video game that you can play on Nintendo Switch. This mini web series, also called Super Dragon Ball Heroes, is only in Japanese. They did not dub this in English. And I believe there is about 56 episodes all up, but I think you can watch the entire thing on YouTube. Now, the way that you play this game is not against another person with other cards. You actually play it on a special arcade machine that is only in Japan. So here's one for you guys. This is a SS4 Broly going absolutely insane. And it's hard to tell on camera, but these cards are actually quite thick and sturdy. And I think it's because since you're playing them on an arcade machine, I think there's like a chip or something on the inside of the card to act as a reader. So yeah, these cards are thicker than the average card, and they're also smaller because they're Japanese size. So for comparison, here is a Fusion World card, here's a Super Dragon Ball Heroes card, and if you put them over the top of each other, so see how the Japanese card is actually smaller. And in case you guys want to know, these are the sleeves that I use for Japanese size cards, so they're a bit more of a better fit, and these are the sleeves that I use for just my regular cards. It was announced last year that the Super Dragon Ball Hero cards would be discontinued and that they would instead replace them with a new card game called Dragon Ball Super Divers. Again, these cards are only playable on the arcade machines in Japan. Dragon Ball Super Divers was released in November 2024, and they look very similar to Super Dragon Ball Heroes. So on the right here, we have a Divers card, and on the left, we have a Heroes card. So kind of different, but same, if you know what I mean. The back is actually very similar. So yeah, again, the Divers card is thick because of the reader or the chip or whatever it is inside that has to be read on the machine for you to play the game. But yeah, there's still some really beautiful artworks for both sets. Now for the rarity system with Super Dragon Ball Heroes, I'll make sure to also have it on screen as well. The main rare top tier chase cards for Dragon Ball Heroes is the secret rares. Now it can be a bit confusing because the ultimate rares and the secret rares both are marked with 4 stars on the back of the card. Basically the secret rares, the ones that are the main chasers, are the ones where it has a white square with 4 black stars, okay? So that's really what you should look out for. The ultimate rares are the black square with white stars. Now with diver cards, the rarity system is a bit different. So we have normal, rare, super rare, a special rarity called a pickup rare, a extra rare, but then they do also have god rares and god rare alt arts. And the rarity is marked on the card with its corresponding letters on the side of the card. So we have here this beautiful Bulma. So see on the side here, it says PUR, so this is a pickup rare. It's also in the corner here, see it says PUR. And then we have this really gorgeous extra rare. So if you flip it on the side, see it says EXR, so that's extra rare. And then on the back, you also have EXR up here in the corner. My understanding is the extra rares are kind of like the secret rare equivalent, so it's one just below god rare. But my understanding is with divers, the god rares are rare, of course, but I believe it's more the god rare alt arts that are the biggest and most expensive chasers from those sets. And again, if you want to buy singles of the card because it's just easier and more accessible to you, the code in the corner is your best friend. Okay, even if you just type it into Google and see what search results come up for that card and where you can buy it from, that's the code that you want to put in your search engine to find it. So this isn't so much a rarity class in and of itself, but it's something I wanted to show you guys anyway because you may have seen this before or you might be interested. So for both heroes and divers, you can also get what's called sample cards. So basically what that means is it has this sample stamp on it, and instead of the gameplay mechanics being on the back, you just have Japanese writing with the TCG logo on it. Sample cards indicate that they're like the initial card design and they're used for test printing, but also they're prototypes that are sent to Japanese arcade shops to showcase the new cards that are in every new set. So because of that, they're a bit more exclusive and they have a limited print run. So yeah, they're a bit more valuable than the standard version of the card. So I thought you guys might like to see that as well. For Super Dragon Ball Heroes, there is also another class of rarity called a dramatic art. Now these are absolutely stunning, and they're basically an alt art version to a card that already exists. So I'll show you some examples of what that looks like. So first we have this beautiful OG Bulma. Now the dramatic art for this card is this beauty right here. This is actually my favorite Bulma card. I absolutely love this. It's so beautiful. Shout out to Nobody the Puller who sent this to me as a gift. You are an absolute legend. So they are completely different, but this is the alt art version for this card. And you can tell that it is because, again, we look at the code in the corner. So see how they actually have the exact same letters and numbers. The only difference is the dramatic art has a DA next to it, which stands for dramatic art. So yeah, that's how you know that it matches this card. And dramatic arts always have this really nice clean white border around the card. And we have another really cool one here. So we have this epic all forms cell, and then we have the dramatic art corresponding with it with Cell versing SS2 Gohan. Absolutely beautiful. And again, there is the code in case you guys are interested. And just a word of caution with buying dramatic arts in particular, please be mindful of doing your research and finding the true value of the card first before you purchase it. Yes, Super Dragon Ball Heroes has been discontinued, so they're no longer making these cards, they're no longer in production, but that does not mean that they're all going to disappear overnight, and that has to mean that you pay a ridiculous amount of money for these cards, okay? The reality is there are still a lot of those cards in circulation on the secondary market. You probably could even find some at local card shows and events as well. There are people out there who are selling these cards for a crazy amount of money. I can still buy dramatic arts for as low as $15 to $20, but that exact same card on other people's websites or on whatnot, they will sell it for over $100 sometimes. So yeah, I don't like getting ripped off. I don't like seeing other people getting ripped off. So yeah, again, just please use your discernment. Websites like TCG Republic or Japanese websites that have proxy services that do worldwide shipping, they're probably your best bet with finding those cards at a really good price. If you do use TCG Republic, they have a cool feature on their website where if something's not available, you can request a restock, and they're usually pretty responsive. So you should be notified in maybe a day or a couple of days once something is back in stock. Otherwise, a seller I can recommend is Dark Saiyan Cards. They do live streams on whatnot, and their pricing is fair. So I'll link them in the description below and you guys can check them out. They also have a Instagram as well. So yeah, hit them up if you're looking for anything in particular. Okay, I think that was enough information overload for today. So thank you so much for being here. And if you're new to the hobby, welcome. And I hope this video was really helpful for you and helps you understand the TCG a bit better. But yeah, look out for the FAQ video in the near future if you guys are interested. And as usual, please take good care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.